Yo, what is up? We got the Ajazz AJ179 Apex today. Shout out to Anderson from the Matrix for sending this out. I appreciate it very much. This is of course one of the newest iterations of ergonomic mouses that are, there's a slew of clone mice shapes coming out with 1:1 accuracy, making only like minor changes to the base or the sensors or charging ports, just like this Ajazz AJ179 Apex. So let's check it out. This is the unbox. I was impatient, I already unboxed it, but there's nothing much to see in here. It's just a regular box with some artwork. I think it's kind of like embossed with some shiny artwork. Only 2 colors on the box, so it's minimal cost, not a lot of colors. They save on printing. These savings are great because they go straight to the customers, I suppose. Some styrofoam. I wish they didn't use styrofoam. I wish they used some kind of cardboard instead, just fold the cardboard like Zaopin or Endgame Gear. That's a better option. And then you have this really stiff USB-C wire, and I suppose this wire is because it's doing the 8K thing. It needs to be more robust, thicker wire, I suppose. I'm not too sure. The wire I have on now is from the Fnatic Thorn. I suppose it'll do the job as well. I'm not so sure, but it is what it is. So that's the Apex box reaction. This is a $70 mouse, and the shape is of an ergo, like the Zaopin ergo. It is not like the Death Adder ergo, because the Death Adder ergo is like much bigger. This is like a smaller ergo, but kind of like a taller hump in the middle. It is a 1:1 copy of the Fnatic, and we'll talk about the 1:1 copy real soon. I think they call it an EC clone. I don't have an EC, I don't have a Zaopin, so I don't know the Zaopin EC shape or the Lamzu Thorn clone. The coating itself, there is some kind of dry matte coating. I wouldn't say it is sticky. I wouldn't say it is on the grippy level of the G Pro Superlight V2, but there is some kind of coating. It's very mild, and it's for me it's sufficient because I like mice with and without coating. So even if it didn't have a coating, I'd be fine with it. However, if I was to compare this with other grippy coatings, this would be on the milder side. The base, as you can see, it's got the broken up feet because they decided to put some magnets here for the charging, so they had to make a cutout here and make way for this capability. So the skates are full top skates and broken up bottom skates, so you have the corner skates at the bottom, full skates at the top. Again, this is a $70 mouse, and I think this mouse is weighing in at 62 grams if I'm not mistaken. So let's just weigh it up and I'll show it to you. This is a 61.6 gram mouse. The dock itself is the most interesting part of this mouse. I'm not particularly fond of docks because they take up too much space on my desk, but it does have some RGB lights, and RGB lights are a fan favorite, I suppose. And then it's got a TFT or OLED screen, I'm not sure what it is, and it plays GIFs if you want it to. I haven't figured it out yet. We'll get into that when I do a full review of the mouse. And that is the dock, and underneath that dock, let me just pull this out, and underneath the dock you can see you can remove the stickers and you will get more of a grip if you decide to put it on your table. It's like anti-slip grips. And then you've got some buttons here which I presume are to change the RGB setting, changes the color or turns it on and turns it off. There's another button at the back, but I'm not sure what it does actually, but we'll find out later. That's not what this video is about. It's not a review of the Ajazz, it's just unbox and introduction to the Ajazz 179 Apex, which brings us to the next subject. Let me put this aside. what it's copying. It's copying the Fnatic Thorn, and this is the Lamzu Fnatic Thorn. $100, $30 more than the Ajazz Apex AJ179. The Unbox, you guys are familiar what the Lamzu experience is. You kind of slide it out this way, and then you have all your accoutrements in there. But I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's just regular Lamzu kind of unbox. The shape itself, the same shape, an EC clone, very nice, comfortable shape. I think a lot of people like this. The coating itself is, I would say it's similar to that, but just a hair grippier, I would say. I wouldn't say it's on the grippy side. I wouldn't say it is an endgame gear kind of grippy coating. It is more significant grippy coating than the Ajazz. I'll just call it Apex from now onwards. It has no dock, but it has a nice cute little 4K dongle, and it came with this original wire. It's supposed to be like that, so I like it. The color combination is great. The way they packaged it is great. This nice little unassuming dongle is great. I appreciate a dongle like that. And it weighs in at, let's zero that, 52 grams exactly, 51.9. So a good 10 grams lighter than the Ajazz with 61.5. So about 9.5 grams lighter than the Ajazz. So let's compare it head to head. In terms of shape, I already mentioned they are 1-to-1 clones. They couldn't be any closer. The button placements are kind of different. I do have an overlay. I did an overlay video to show you exactly what the difference are in terms of the button positioning. They are positioned slightly differently, but in the hand you cannot really feel it. It is literally around the same postal code, so they're actually very similar. The Ajazz scroll wheel is slightly higher, but maybe by 1 or 2 millimeters. Nothing I would say is bad or good or different. Of course, the click feel is going to be very different between the two. Let me show you the sound. This is the Ajazz Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. This is the Fnatic Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. Of course, the Lamzu is using optical switches, which they do not name what brand it is on the site. If you are, you know, where people are really proud when they use Omron optical switches, they name it on their website. On the Ajazz, they are using a mechanical switch, and these are Huano transparent green shell with green dots, and they're pretty nice. The switches itself are really nice sounding, much better than these opticals on the Fnatic Thorn. But the problem with the Ajazz is the button tensioning. It's got that springy feel that reminds me of the VXE R1 Pro Max, kind of like pre-travel. It's kind of springy and then clicks, and then the post-travel goes all the way down and contacts the body, which is not a problem actually. I'm just stating that that's what happens. On the Thorn, you can see when I max it down, bottom it out, it does not contact the body, and this one does. But again, they are different kind of feel in terms of click feel. They're not better or worse, it's just different. The switches, however, the Ajazz clearly wins because it is a nice click feel, nice sound. The only issue I have, well, I want to say issue, it's not a big deal, but it's that tensioning of that Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. On the side buttons, I'm going to be honest with you, the side buttons aren't great. They have the G Pro Superlight feel, you know, that mushy feel. that people complain about on the G Pro Superlight. You're getting that on the Ajazz as well, but to a lesser degree. I'm not going to say it is as severe as the G Pro Superlight, but you do have a little bit of that mushy feeling compared to the Fnatic. Very crisp, very sharp. These side buttons are almost as great as the ones on the Viper. The ones on the Viper are absolutely incredible feeling. If there's anything you can learn how to make side buttons like the Razer Vipers. They're really nice. These are very crisp, very nice, very loud side buttons. These are a little bit mushy. The scroll wheel, they both feel very nice. The Lamzu, you can hear it's a little bit louder, right? Much louder, much more audible. Ajazz is much more silent and smooth. They both have the notch. You can clearly define those notches. On the Ajazz is less so, but it is still there. You can feel it a little bit more subdued, but it is much smoother and more silent, while the one on the Fnatic Thorn is much noisier. Now in terms of performance, of course, this is the 3395 with 4K, and the Ajazz Apex is on the latest sensor, which is the 3950, and this is 8K wireless. So you're getting better, well, when I say better, I mean the latest technology with the highest capabilities in terms of performance, while on the Fnatic Thorn you are already getting a 3395 4K best performing just before the 3950. Now the 3950 and the 3395 is, you cannot tell the difference. They both feel the same. They both, you know, when you swipe, the arrow moves the same way. There's nothing to differentiate the two, so I wouldn't make a big deal out of the 3950 or 3395. They're both great. It's just that the Ajazz will give you 8K if you want 8K, and the Thorn only goes up to 4K, and I don't think that is a big deal. Now, this wouldn't be a orange comparison if I didn't bring in the Zaopin Z2, which I reviewed recently. Also an ergo shape, but an ergo shape based on the G Pro Superlight kind of feel. I still like this shape very, very much, and if I had to choose, man, it's going to be very difficult to choose between a Zaopin and an Ajazz or Thorn kind of feel. They're both different kind of, if you want it to fill your hand and contact your hand more, you will go for the Thorn shape on the Ajazz or the Fnatic. But if you want a more familiar G Pro Superlight kind of shape with a little bit of pronounced hump on the left side, then you go for the G Pro Superlight Zaopin. All three are really nice feeling mouse. You have to try it for yourself in order to decide which shape you might prefer, a little bit more, a little bit less, but they're all these three are, even though they're very different, they're very close. The Zaopin and Fnatic, of course, are one-to-one copies. In the hand, they feel exactly the same. Of course, the click feelings are going to be slightly different. The base looks different because the one on the Fnatic, of course, looks a lot more funkier. The one on the Ajazz looks a little bit more basic and what we're used to, closed back. This one is an open back. What do you like? I don't know. Later on, I'm going to do a full review on the Ajazz, but right now I just wanted to show you guys the comparison one-to-one. One is $70 for the highest version. Of course, Ajazz comes up with 4 different versions from the cheapest to the most expensive. I think the cheaper models even use a 3395 sensor. Only the upper 2 models, Pro and Apex, uses the 3950 sensor. If you want to save money but you want the Thorn shape at a lower price, I would suggest going for just the Ajazz 179 with the 3395 1K polling rate, that should be sufficient enough, and I think that one is only $35. So you can get a Thorn, a 1k Thorn for $35 from Ajazz, and that would be incredible value for money. But if you want the flagship 3950 8k Thorn Challenger, 10 grams heavier, go for the Ajazz Apex. That's my video comparing the two. Very long rambling video, forgive me. Maybe I could have made this a little bit shorter, but I tried to get my raw reaction without editing the video too much or without cutting down too much dialogue. I didn't want to make a script, and I tried to be as authentic as possible. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.